106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Extension Hour. I'm Amy Ressler, County Extension Agent for Family and Community Health. I've got two great people with me today. So we do the Extension Hour every Friday right here on Lone Star Radio, and we like to focus on our people, our program, and our partnerships, and we have like all of that rolled up into one with our guest today, Miranda Hosmer. She is the Senior Planner for Montgomery County, Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. So, like, you guys like words almost as much as we do, I think.
We do. And we try to make it as many letters as possible.
Right. And we use a lot of acronyms. And so I know lots of times we talk about the Office of Emergency Management as OEM, and everybody knows what that means, right? But maybe not. Brandon and I just got a new coworker. We have an assistant agent who's working with us. She'll be with us for about 8 months to 2 years. So she's kind of in a training position, and she's just like, man, you guys use a lot of acronyms, and we do. So we try to describe them, and when we do the radio show, try to make sure that we say them, spell them out. So if I give you a look, that means you need to say what that is. So, and I give Brandon a look sometimes because he's my coworker. So Brandon, say hi and introduce yourself.
Hey, Amy. Brandon Gregson. I'm County Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources here in Montgomery County.
And you've been with us like a whole 8 months now? How many months? You have to count them up. So you came in July.
Middle of July, yep.
And it all kind of runs together because it seems like longer. But
Time
it really
flies when you're having fun.
That's right, because we have fun in Montgomery County. All right, and then I mentioned Miranda Hosmer. Miranda, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I've been over at the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management for about 9 years. I've been with Montgomery County, working in government for 16 years. So I've been with the county. It was my first real job out of college, and I've just moved around and done a couple of different things. But my home is over there at Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We take an all-hazards approach to planning. So as you can see, even from our title, we cover everything from terrorist incidents to hurricanes and flooding, and we try to plan for all of it and make sure that our partners are prepared, as well as the public and our community. So that's one of the things that we do.
Sounds great. So you said your first job right out of college. What was your degree? What did you do in college?
I went to Sam Houston State University, and I have my degree in criminal justice. And my first job was with Montgomery County Juvenile Probation. I was a detention officer, jailer, and I worked the night shift. And that's how I put myself through college.
Oh, wow. And then, of course, I guess that was a good job, but probably not what you want to do the rest of your life.
That's right.
Did you know that were you interested in emergency management, that kind of thing, or did you just kind of fall into this job?
I did. I just fell into it. From there, I became a probation officer, and I did that for a few years. And then the opportunity came available to move over to emergency management and Homeland Security. They had a training position over there, and I really liked talking to people and teaching classes. And so I thought that was a good fit for me and a good move. And so I made the move, and then I've just kind of moved up, and now I'm the senior planner, which I think just means I'm the one crazy enough to stick around the longest. So.
But you have lots of good information, and you have been a great resource for Montgomery County. So, we're Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service, so we're part of the A&M system, but we're also a county office, and sometimes that it's a little confusing. But so we are a partner and a cohort, I guess, another county office along with you guys. So we really appreciate everything that you do. And one of the things that I think that is really cool about Montgomery County is that we do have an Office of Emergency Management. Because we're going to talk a lot about disasters today and kind of response to disasters and that kind of thing. And I know when Hurricane Harvey hit, and Extension got pulled into doing some of the response work, and then even afterwards, there's lots of other things, because you know that in any job, that other duties as assigned, yeah. So we did that. But what I'm getting at is a lot of counties, and Brandon, you probably experienced this when you were in San Jacinto County at the time that happened. They don't have an Office of Emergency Management, and so having a place to go, or someone who was kind of coordinating and centralizing all of that, didn't happen in every county. So that was something that I know was a great benefit here in Montgomery County, that we have an office and we have people dedicated to doing that. And so I think that that's a tribute to the Commissioner's Court and their development of that office and the funding and support of that office and that kind of thing, that it kind of helps make things go a little smoother. Because during a disaster, after a disaster, it's a little chaotic, huh?
Yeah, it sure is. Well, thank you for that. We love that we have that role and that opportunity here in Montgomery County. Like you said, not every county is blessed enough to have that, and we get to do some really awesome work, and we partner with City of Houston, and we partner with federal partners, state partners, local partners. So we get to really do a lot of things, and that is a tribute to our county and our Commissioner's Court for allowing us to do that.
Yeah. So another fun thing, and I say fun very sarcastically because when I talk about what it is, so you guys came to our office, and you went to other county offices as well, but did some active shooter awareness training, which was very eye-opening for us. And I, again, really appreciated you guys being able to do that and having that resource. And it was kind of funny because I was telling somebody else about it in an Extension. They had stopped by to pick up something, and I was like, yeah, we had this training. And they were like, how did you get that? And how can we get it too? It's like, well, we have a really awesome office here that does that for us. But anyway, so that was another thing that you guys do that, it's maybe not something that you think about right away. Well, I guess maybe Homeland Security, you think about that. But, if someone comes in with a gun, what do we do? How do we act? And run, hide, fight. Run, hide, fight. Those are the...
remembers.
I remembered. See, that's how good of a trainer you are.
Right. Yeah, we've been offering that program for a couple of years now, and we are very happy to keep doing that. We've made a lot of progress with that throughout the county. We've trained every single county department at least once, and then we've kind of made it out to the public as well. We're doing private businesses, private schools. We've done huge women's groups and different things, and so we partner with the Sheriff's Office on that, and we teach those classes. They are absolutely free, and we are happy to do it. So anybody that is interested in that, even a public sector person, just give our office a call and let them know you want to talk to me. I head up that program, Miranda Hosmer, and we'll get you set up with a class. We're happy to come out. The more people we can train on that, on the run, hide, fight, the more people that we know what to do in that event and can save lives, and that's the goal behind it, is just prepare people and give them the tools they need to take care of themselves.
Right. Okay, so in addition to your paid job, you do lots of volunteer work as well. And one of the things that makes you one of our people is you are a 4-H club manager.
That's right, yes. So this past year, my husband and I decided to take on that challenge. Our son goes to Covenant Christian School, and they were looking for a 4-H club manager. And we prayed about it and decided, you know what, I think God's pushing us to do this. So we went ahead and made that decision to become club managers for Covenant Christian 4-H. And we had a blast. We had so much fun with those kids this year. We were so proud of them at the fair. We were like screaming as loud as their parents. So we had a great time. We're going to do it again next year, and we've just really enjoyed that opportunity.
Yeah, and Extension volunteers are the heart of Extension when you say so, Brandon. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
One of the things that there's only a few of us that are at the Extension office, and so there's only so much we can do. And Montgomery County is a huge county, so we really rely on our volunteers to help us do that. And another great thing about Montgomery County is our 4-H program. With over 1,000 kids, I think more than 26 clubs right now, or right around 26. That's pretty impressive, very amazing. There's always room to grow. 4-H is for everyone. A couple of shows ago, we had three of the 4-Hers that run the YouTube channel. 4-H is for everyone. Have you seen that one? So the YouTube channel, they've got all these great YouTube videos about their 4-H projects and the things that they do, and which is just, a little bit about what's available in 4-H. But again, we can't do it without volunteers like you. And then you also serve on our Leadership Advisory Board. So we depend on that group to help us to provide direction for where we're going and what we're doing, and where we focus our efforts in terms of programming. So, like I said, Montgomery County is a big county, lots and lots of things happening, lots of things changing. And so that's how we as extension agents kind of keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening, is by relying on our volunteers, and the Leadership Advisory Board kind of heads that up. So one of the things we've been doing, another fun thing, which it's, I'm saying fun kind of sarcastically, but it is, it's great. It's a great tool to help us find those. And that's our Texas Community Futures Forum that we just participated in. And one of your coworkers, Morgan Lumley, helped us out with that. And then there were several others that did a online survey, responded to that, because they, big, busy county, and it's difficult to get everybody in one place, but everybody has access online. So we were able to gather a lot of information online to begin with, and we had some people in person that just kind of helped us figure out where to go with those kinds of things. So Leadership Advisory Board, we really appreciate having community members that help us with that. All right, so we got lots of things to talk about today. We're going to talk about this workshop that you guys have coming up. But before, we're going to take a little break. But before we do that, let me tell you a couple of things, because our office is really busy. I'm going to just mention a few things that are happening with our FCH department. So FCH is the acronym for Family and Community Health. We're wrapping up our Walk Across Texas project. We've had over 400 people, over 70 teams participating, which is awesome. And one of the things we do to kind of wrap that up is our prize patrol. So we'll be doing that in June. We take balloons, and we have this nice banner that says, "I walked across Texas." It's a great photo op. So we kind of help people celebrate what they're doing to make their lives healthier, to develop healthy habits. And then the next thing coming up is going to be this Live 100 project. And so this is something that we're partnering with the state office on, and it's more individual. It's related to using a Fitbit. And they're partnering with this company called Pi Health, P-A-I, another acronym. And it's not our acronym, so I'm not sure what that means. I do. I mean, it's like personal accountability. I'm saying it wrong. But anyways, it's a personalized, this is what I'm doing in terms of physical activity, and this is the intensity of what I'm doing. So it measures like heart rate and all those kinds of things, because, you can be walking, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's that you're really getting the exercise benefits of it. So it helps people maximize the exercise that they are doing. Anyway, so that's going to be kicking off in June, like around June 7th. And then we have summer programs that are happening at the library. And then on May 30th, so just before the workshop that we're going to talk about with you guys, we have an Older Adult Forever Young celebration. Because as you know, May is Older Americans Month, to celebrate older Americans. And so we'll be having an event there at the Extension Office, 9020 Airport Road, at May 30th, which is a Thursday. It'll be 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Then we'll clear out. You guys move in for your workshop. But lots of cool things for older adults. So we want them all to come out there as well. Okay, so lots of things happening. And it's time for a break, but we'll be right back. You're listening to Lone Star Radio, and we'll see you in a minute. Family and community health programs provide science-based education designed to improve the overall health and wellness of individuals, families, and communities. Developed by experts and delivered locally, topics include child and adult health, nutrition, child care, financial management, passenger and community safety, and building strong families, all encouraging lifelong health and well-being for every person, every family, and every community. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyper-local audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776.
Statistics show that 1 out of every 6 Texans struggles with food insecurity and hunger. And many people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables every day. The Better Living for Texans program is here to help you learn how to make healthy menu choices, save money at the grocery store, prepare quick and delicious meals, get more good nutrition in your day, and get more physical activity. Classes are fun, friendly, interactive, and free, and taught in English and Spanish. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class. Family and community health programs provide science-based education designed to improve the overall health and wellness of individuals, families, and communities. Developed by experts and delivered locally, topics include child and adult health, nutrition, child care, financial management, passenger and community safety, and building strong families, all encouraging lifelong health and well-being for every person, every family, and every community. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better. Welcome back on this beautiful afternoon in downtown Conroe. I'm Amy Ressler, County Extension Agent, Family Community Health. This is the Extension Hour. We're here every Friday, 1 to 2. With a few exceptions. Sometimes things come up and we're not always here. But another cool thing about the Extension Hour and about Lone Star Radio, which we really appreciate Dick Schischler and everything that he does to make this radio station run, is that these shows are podcast. So people can go back and watch them. So in a month or two, like when a storm actually hits, you can go back and listen and say, now, what did they say about me needing to prepare for the storm? So you can go back and listen to that at any time. And any of the shows that we do are available to listen to. So we really appreciate that. And you can do that at www.irlonestar.com. So IR, it used to be internet radio. Now it's a community radio on FM 104.5 and 106.1, but we still have that web presence as well. So that's pretty awesome, I think. And I think you do a really good job, Dick. Thank you. So we have Brandon Gregson and Miranda Hosmer with us today, and we are talking about Homeland Security, emergency management, and we have a workshop that's coming up that we wanted to mention. But before we do that, because, sometimes I get ahead of myself because I get really excited about things, and then, my mind goes faster than my mouth, which can be a dangerous thing sometimes. So tomorrow, actually, on May 18th, our Master Gardeners are going to be hosting an open garden day. And so weather permitting, we're watching it really closely, but we think that the morning's going to be fine, so it probably won't hit till the afternoon. So the morning should be great. So come on out to the Extension office, 9020 Airport Road. We have a whole facility. Brandon, sometimes I like to call it the complex, the Extension complex, because we have two buildings out there. So there's the Master Gardener building, and then there's our office building. But so most of this will be in the Master Gardener building. Well, I say that, but most of it will actually be outside in the gardens because we have these gorgeous gardens that our Master Gardeners tend to, and they do a lot of demonstrations out there, so finding kind of what works really well here in Montgomery County. So we have plant sales twice a year, so sometimes 3 times a year. But the Open Garden Day is actually a time to just come and visit without, having to necessarily fight crowds, because often when we have those plant sales, there's a lot of people who come out with their wagons and they are focused on getting those plants. So the Open Garden Day, again, very, very casual, come and go. It'll start at 9:30, it'll end at 11:30. So you can come and stay, you can spend a few minutes, or you can spend both hours out there, whatever you want to do. But the other departments will be out there too. So the Master Gardeners kind of host it and put it on, but because we are a office that has a lot of different disciplines, we try to highlight all of those. So Family and Community Health will be out there making some snacks. We have food, because that's what we do. We do food. So our coworkers, Mike McBride and Becky Smith, will be in the office building part. They'll be kind of in the back. And then, Brandon, you're going to be out there.
Floating around,
Yeah.
answering questions. Yeah.
Because people always have questions like about ponds. And
Especially this time of year.
yeah. So he's just a walking,
Knowledge.
yes, plethora of knowledge. Ask him a question, he's got an answer. And then again, like the Master Gardeners will be there all in their areas. So there's the herb garden, there's the adaptive garden, there's the orchard, there's the greenhouse, there's the aquaponics. It's so many things out there. So great opportunity to come see what's happening there. And then they also do a Saturday series of classes. So on June 8th, is their next series, and that is What's All the Buzz About? So what's all the buzz? Bringing bees to your garden, and then other pollinators besides bees. So it's actually 2 sessions. So the first one is 8 to 10. The second one is 10:30 to 12:30. Because beekeeping is like a big deal now, right, Brandon?
Here in the past 4 or 5 years, it's gotten a lot bigger. I mean, there's ag value placed on it now for property tax value, that kind of thing. So a lot of people are exploring getting into that. So the education behind it's needed, and we see a lot of it through our office. And we've got our own apiary there at the office too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. So this class, again, will be very informative. So if you don't even know like where to start even asking questions, this is a good place to start. And then, when you do have questions, call Brandon. He's got the answers. All right. So like I mentioned, we have a workshop coming up. It's called Weathering the Storm on May 30th. It's going to be at the Extension Complex. So in the Tom Leroy Education Building. So what we also call the Master Gardener Building sometime. But it's the bigger building between the two that are there at 9020 Airport Road. So we're right across the street from the Lone Star Convention Center. If you know where that's at. So right off of 3083, very convenient location. 4 to 6:30 is what it's scheduled. So Brandon, Miranda, tell us, what are people going to be able to expect to learn at this workshop?
Well, I guess let's kind of back up and start with the why. I mean, one of the things that I did when I first started here was Miranda invited me over for a training with the other important parties in emergency. So nothing's going to happen. But it's always a good idea to have. So our adult horse committee thought it would be a good idea to partner with Miranda's office and put together an event to kind of highlight some things that people need to be aware of, thinking about, things like that. And that's the event on May the 30th. So, Miranda?
Yeah, so we learned a lot during Hurricane Harvey. Like Brandon said, we had come together and made an animal issues plan, and we thought we had it all figured out. And then Hurricane Harvey hit, and we were like, well, that's got some holes in it, doesn't it? So what we did is we regrouped after the fact and tried to fill those gaps and make sure that we were even better prepared, and took all the lessons that we learned during Hurricane Harvey and applied those moving forward. Like Brandon said, we did a training on how to band with RFID tag bands all of our animals, because we were doing everything on paper and we were trying to keep track. Normally during an event, we'd have a couple of hundred animals. And then during Hurricane Harvey, we had thousands and thousands of animals. And so we realized, we need to come up with a better system. So just things like that we were able to learn and tweak and come out better on the other side. And so, Brandon approached me and said that you guys were interested in doing a program for folks to come out and learn how to prepare for themselves and their animals. And that's the key with preparedness that we try to push to folks out in the community, is being prepared for everything, hoping that it doesn't happen,
Right.
but being prepared and having all of those, ducks in a row. Should you have to evacuate, should you have to leave your home, you want to be prepared to take care of your pets and your large animals as well. And there are a lot of things that folks may or may not think about. Just when you're preparing your kit for hurricane season, or even just kind of flood season is what we have here in East Texas a lot of the time, is you'll make copies of your medical records and things like that, but you also want to have copies of your animals' records. Small animals, if you're going to check into a shelter, they're going to ask you for rabies tags. They're going to ask you for their vaccine history. And just like Brandon was mentioning earlier, your large animals, we're going to need Coggins papers. We're going to need all of those things to properly take care of your animal in a shelter. And so that'll just help you through the process. It'll help us take better care of your animal. And so we just try to help folks to learn all of those things and be better prepared in the event that we have another hurricane this year. We just want everybody to have as much information as they can and be as ready to go as possible.
Sure, and it's much easier to prepare for things when things are calm. Be prepared, even if it doesn't happen. At least you've got it.
Right.
It kind of beats not being prepared when you really need it. All right, so the program is for animals, right? So a little bit more on animals, but there's some things that are related to humans as well. So it's for anyone who would like to volunteer. We're going to focus on human, but mostly volunteer during a disaster event, or we would like to be a part of a directory of possible volunteers, because that's another thing that happens. I mean, people come out of I wouldn't say of the woodwork, but, people want to help. Like, a disaster happens and what can I do? So you guys are going to have some tips for how to register to be a volunteer, or where to go, how to make the best use of your...
Yeah, so volunteers was something that we did have a little bit of a challenge managing in Hurricane Harvey because, like you said, we had so many thousands of people that wanted to help. And so we were trying to figure out how to put them in the right volunteer role. And like you said, preparing now when it's calm is so much easier than trying to figure out what to do with 1,000 volunteers. And we don't know anything about you or what your skill sets are or what you'd like to do or what you're good at. And so if we can get the database kind of now in the calm times and say, okay, you're a volunteer who has experience working with large animals, or you have experience working with dogs or cats or whatever that may be, then we can kind of get all that lined out on our end, and we'll know where's the best place for you, and we can be ready for you to volunteer and use our volunteers' time better is our goal. And instead of spending so much time trying to figure out what to do with everyone, we hope to have it all set ahead of time so that we can just plug you in and go, and you'll be in a role that you feel comfortable volunteering in and doing things that you're good at and that you're prepared to do.
Right. And then transporting those animals to a safe place.
A lot of people don't realize what all volunteerism means. I mean, it's not just going to a shelter and working. It can be volunteering to provide resources for animals, food, water, cages, bedding. For horses and cattle, it could be transportation services. You could have access to trailering horses to go and round up livestock that may be stranded. This would be a good time for Miranda's office to have a catalog of those people, because at the last minute you're scrambling trying to put those resources together. But if you have this, you can say, oh, well, so-and-so said that they would be willing possibly to transport livestock should we ever need that. Even housing. A lot of times, like at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds, I know they took in some cattle, but it was mainly horses. But there were other off-site facilities like Stalwart Ranch up in the north side of the county took in a lot of cattle. So places like that would be willing to take in cattle for a certain period of time till we can get them back to their original home is important too. And knowing where those places are, instead of me sitting down in our office and saying, who do I contact and who would be willing to do this? It'd be good to know that now.
Right. And if people do sign up to volunteer, that doesn't mean like they're committed to do it. But just knowing that they're willing and potentially available is that much, puts you that much further ahead and kind of calms some of that chaos that can happen. So also feed, water, other resources or materials and resources for displaced animals. Tell me a little bit about that. What did you guys experience with I remember somebody calling and saying, coming down with a load of hay, and we weren't sure where it was going to go.
Yeah. Donations was another big challenge that we dealt with during Harvey, and it was such a blessing to get all of those donations. But what we want to do moving forward is teach people what makes a good donation, because we got a lot of really good donations, and we actually got a lot of really not so good donations. People were sending things that weren't useful for what we were doing, sending things to our animal donations area that weren't usable for animals or weren't appropriate. And so what we want to do is make sure your donation gets to the right place and is used properly, because everybody wants their donation to help. And then also letting you know what we need and what we don't need. Bottled water for animals is not the best course of action, but we did get that. And so, water is typically something we'll have on hand. We'll have, hoses and well systems and things like that we'll use to water animals. But what we do need is things like cages and food and bedding. But those are things that we would put out a call for. So we still have a lot of those things stored up from Hurricane Harvey. And so that's good news, that we got so much that we were able to really stockpile a lot of it. And we'll be able to use that. But just paying attention to all of the different news outlets and Facebook, Twitter, all of those, we'll be putting out things and getting it to you guys as well as what are the needs. And so paying attention to that, getting the public to say, don't just send us an 18-wheeler full of hay or an 18-wheeler full of dog food if we've only called for bedding or cages, because that's going to help us the most, and make sure that your donation gets used properly as well.
Right. And then, of course, veterinarians are important, volunteering. And then also at this workshop, we want anyone that's just interested in having a heads up, just kind of, being prepared. It's things are less scary when you have a good knowledge or a good understanding of what might happen, just kind of have control, because the fear of the unknown is one of those things that make chaotic times even more chaotic. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about the workshop that's coming up, but also we're going to talk about some of those lessons learned with previous experience, and to help people be prepared for the next thing that happens. Like we said, hopefully it doesn't, but around here the chances are pretty good. So we can make it easier by being prepared. But in the meantime, we're going to take a little break, and you're listening to 104.5 and 106.1. This is the Extension Hour. We're focusing on our people, our programs, and our partnerships, and we'll be right back.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Is there someone you know who is hooked on vintage aircraft? Follow the Commemorative Air Force and its fleet of World War II planes, including the mighty B-17 Flying Fortress Texas Raiders, which is based in Conroe, Texas. Texas Raiders tours locally and all around the United States, offering the public a chance to put their hands on aviation history. What could be a more perfect gift than a flight on a historic B-17? Taking to the sky on the iconic bomber is an experience that will never be forgotten. For the touring schedule, reservations, or more information, go to b17texasraiders.org or
checking out Jazzy Vibes with Soul. What? You haven't done so yet? Well, you've got to tune in. Hi, I am the host of Jazzy Vibes with Soul, Miss CeCe Holmes, and I invite you to check us out every Friday and Saturday from 7 until 9 p.m., where you will get the best in old school R&B and, of course, a little smooth jazz to make it jazzy. So tune in. That's right, tune in every Friday and Saturday right here on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM, or worldwide at irlonestar.com.
We are back with the Extension Hour. I'm Amy Ressler. I've got my coworker Brandon Gregson and our partner Miranda Hosmer with the Office of Emergency Management, who is also a 4-H club manager, which we appreciate tremendously. So that is my nice little segue into 4-H kind of things that are happening. So summer is really, really busy for 4-H kids. Lots of things happening, but just a couple of things that one thing that I would mention that people might not know about. There is a big part of 4-H is developing leadership skills, and there's some what we call a leader lab or a leadership lab. So it's a laboratory experience, not really in a laboratory, but it's just it's a fun word for camp. So there's a leadership camp that's going to happen for our 4-H leaders, and I mean for our older kids, for those leadership. And then there's also a junior leadership lab that happens in the fall, but the senior leadership lab is coming up this summer. And it'll be actually on your old stomping grounds there at Sam Houston State University, June 24th through the 27th. So that's something that we want people to know that is available for kids, and some of the great things that they're doing in 4-H, and one of the great reasons to be involved in 4-H. And then 4-H is actually also youth development. So it's more than just your traditional 4-H club opportunities. We also provide a lot of curriculum enrichment, so kids in the classroom can get a 4-H experience as well. So letting teachers know that that's something that's available is part of what our 4-H program assistant, Joe Pickens, is doing. And she is working on, she along with Justin Science, is working on some workshops. So on June 6th, there will be a science teacher workshop, and that's for science teachers in K through 5. And then there's also a junior master gardener workshop, teacher leader training that's going to happen on June 10th. So you can call our office for more information about any of those. But we want to get back to this workshop that's going to happen on May 30th. Lots of great information available for the public. It's called Weathering the Storm with Your Animals. So it'll touch on a little bit of human preparedness, but animal preparedness is one of the things that is a big issue. And that's one of the things that you guys are charged with addressing. So on May 30th, 4 to 6:30 p.m., there at the Extension Office, 9020 Airport Road, will be Weathering the Storm with the Animals. And so we talked a little bit about who's for, kind of some of the things that we'll cover. But there's a whole other list of partners who are going to be there. So you guys tell us a little bit about who's going to be there.
Well, there's several folks, and they're all involved in different aspects of a response and recovery event. First off, right here at home, we have the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department Livestock Division. They will be there. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Harris County's had some new folks come on board. So now Harris County's livestock unit will be a part of this as well, at least in attendance.
Right, because people outside of Extension or county government don't really always recognize county lines, right? So,
Right.
we talk about Montgomery County, but when you're in Montgomery County versus Harris County, it's hard to know when you cross the line.
Right. And so, why is it important to have someone like that at the table? Well, they're involved in, a lot of recovery, transportation of livestock, loose livestock, things like that have to be managed. And that all comes to the table in an event like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be there. Texas Southwest Cattle Raisers Association will have a representative there. Our Adult Horse Committee will be present that day. They were involved in a lot of the horse care at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds during Harvey. A lot of facilitation of that. Texas A&M Vet Diagnostics Lab, Dr. Bissett will be there. So from an animal health perspective, working with veterinarians, veterinary volunteerism, he'll be there to talk. Obviously, I'll be there. Miranda will be there. They're going to have their mobile unit there for people to look at, be familiar with. So there'll be a lot of people sitting at the table that people can hear from, ask questions of. You may not be familiar with these people, but you will be after you leave there. Mm-hmm. And if an event should happen, you'll know who these people are and what they're doing to help you.
Yeah, what their job is. Yeah. So what is this mobile unit, Miranda? It's a big bus?
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, it's a big, fancy 18-wheeler looking unit we have, and it's our mobile command vehicle. And we deploy it out anytime we need to operate at a location outside of our office. So we have the Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, at our office, and I tell people it kind of looks like mission control at NASA. That's really what it looks like. There's a million computers and screens, and we've got all kinds of things going on to look at and be aware of, but a lot of times we need to go out into the field and be closer to the action, so we do have a mobile command unit, and we'll have that out there for folks to come look at, and they can see what that looks like. We deploy that out for Ironman Texas every year down in the Woodlands, and then a lot of our different events we bring it out to, as well as anytime, as we talked about active shooter before, we're going to take that out and use that if there's a location we need to operate out of close to the scene. We'll deploy that out. So it's a deployable asset that we just kind of take around, and anytime it's needed, we'll make sure it's used to give us somewhere to operate out of.
Office of Emergency Management.
They can call our office and talk to myself and talk to April Fagan there at the Montgomery County Extension Office, 539-7822, and they can email April. Her email's right there on our website, and just let us know that you want to attend. I mean, we'll have some refreshments and whatnot, but it's just good for us to know kind of how many people are there. We'll have handouts and things that people will probably want to take with them. So, just contact our office.
Okay, so no charge, but we would like an RSVP, preferably by May 24th. I mean, that's not going to prevent somebody from coming, right? So, definitely we want as many people as possible to know that this is happening. Because, again, the more people that are informed and prepared, the smoother some of those things go. So we mentioned we were going to talk about some of the lessons learned from the last experience or the last experiences, since there's been a few. So, Miranda, what's one of the things that comes to mind, first of all, that you just kind of wish that people knew?
The biggest thing that we wish that the public could hear from us, as far as, that response to a disaster or hurricane of any kind, is the preparedness aspect, is getting yourself prepared ahead of time. And then also just knowing that they do need to bring the proper donation and to help us out as much as possible by paying attention to what it is we are asking for. And so that they don't waste their money and their donation, and that it gets used properly. And a lot of times people will call donations the disaster within a disaster, because we did get so many donations from all over the nation during Hurricane Harvey, and some of them were extremely useful and some of them were not useful at all. Prom dresses and bicycles with no wheels, things like that. So, we just want to get that out to the public, that, be a good steward of what you send to us, and we're so happy to partner with folks when they send us donations. But and then also on the volunteer side, the more we can prepare ahead of time, and you can get on these lists and contact us and let us know how you want to volunteer and where would be the best place for you, that's going to help us so much during the event.
And during this meeting, that would be a good time to ask that question. You may not know where your place is. How can I help? Where would I be most useful? And this would be a good time to kind of hear everybody out and figure out where your place would be. So,
All right. So what are some other things that that are kind of surprises for people, besides the disaster itself, but some of those things that, again, that people should know ahead of time, or even during it, so you don't know it ahead of time. But we were talking during the break, some of the things that
a lot of times people are really, what I've learned is, okay, so it's hurricane season. If they don't see that they're going to get hit head on by a hurricane, they don't necessarily panic. But during Harvey, I'll remember we were here doing a water well program a couple of days before that hit, and me and Walker County and a couple other agents were kind of looking at things, and everybody was talking to their emergency management partners. And what we quickly found out was, no, we're not going to get the hurricane itself, but it's going to stall on top of us. And a lot of people don't prepare for an event like that, and they don't realize what water can do and how fast it can do it. So playing out all those what ifs in a scenario in your own mind and your own situation can really go a long way if you're ever faced with something. That's a good way to be prepared. Just play out that what if scenario.
Yeah, but without panicking. I mean, there's definitely no reason for panic. There are a lot of safety nets in place. There's a lot of we've got the Office of Emergency Management. There's also a notification system, right? So, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we have several different ways of notifying the public in the event that we have something coming. So again, you can always look on our website, our Facebook, and our Twitter. Those are all going to have all of our latest information, press releases, just updates on what's going on, what to expect in the next couple of days. And then if we do have an event, if we have shelters open or we have different points of distribution where you can get things, we'll post all of that there as well. So just driving people to those resources for all of our official information, and letting folks know that there is a lot of unofficial information out there sometimes. Yeah. So Facebook rumors will become this huge beast that we have to kind of tame. Rumors that things are happening that may not necessarily be true. And so just watching us and knowing that we're not going to put anything out that we haven't made sure is 100% true. So if you don't see it on our site, know that I'll take it with a grain of salt. There's not 72 feet of water coming down from the lake or things like that. We always get calls on that almost every time we have a good rainstorm now. People will call and say, they're going to open the dam again. I've heard it's coming right now. And, if we haven't put that information out, then that's just a rumor. And so, you can kind of just look to us for that official vetted information that we've double and triple checked and made sure is correct and accurate. Yeah.
So what is the website? How do they find that reliable information?
Sure. So we're mctxoem.org. And then once you get there, you can click on our little Twitter icon, our Facebook icon. It's the same handle at both, mctxoem. And that'll get you to all of our stuff. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter and Facebook and get all of our updates. We also have different alerting systems. We have Rave Alert, which you can again sign up for on our website. That is where you can opt in to receive different types of alerts. So if you want to receive weather alerts, you can check those boxes when you fill that out, or just whatever you're interested in. You can customize it to you, and you can customize where it's going to go, whether email, phone, cell phone, whatever your preference is. And then we also have the ability, should we need to use it, to send out those iPause messages that you get, kind of like the same, similar to that Amber Alert where it makes that loud sound and you get that message on your phone. Those you can't opt out of. And that's so that we can always ensure that we have a way of letting folks know something serious is happening without any opting in, without any signing up. So in the event we needed to issue an evacuation order or some type of serious, you need to know right now, we do have the ability to kind of geocode where that's going to go and send that information out to the public as well.
That's awesome. So we were joking earlier about use of acronyms, and so the website that you mentioned makes sense to us, right? So mctx.oem.org.
It's no dot in the middle, no problem.
Okay, so MC, so Montgomery County, TX, so MC for Montgomery County, TX for Texas, OEM for Office of Emergency Management, MCTXOM. I'm butchering it. Tell us what it is.
Yeah, MC, like Montgomery County, TX for Texas, OEM, Office of Emergency Management.org.
And you can probably Google
Montgomery County Emergency Management, and we'll probably be the first one that comes up. So yeah, OEM, Montgomery County OEM, and you'll find us that way.
But definitely make sure that it is the legitimate work website, and make sure you're getting the information, like you said, those Facebook rumors, are just internet rumors.
Oh yeah,
get everybody all the time. All right, so we're going to take another little break. We're going to come back, a few more little lessons learned. You're listening to the Extension Hour here on Lone Star Radio. Next week, we're not going to have a show. The week after that, though, we're going to have Brandon's going to be back along with Adrienne Pequet, and she is a master naturalist. So we'll talk about the things that they do as well. But we'll be back in just a few seconds. So hold on. See you in a minute. Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service is all about extending knowledge and providing solutions. We do that by using science-based information to create high-quality and relevant education for the people of Texas. More importantly, this outstanding education is delivered locally, right here in our county. We encourage lasting and effective change that helps our communities and our county thrive. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
Welcome back to the Extension Hour, all about people, programs, and partnerships. We've got Brandon Gregson and Miranda Hosmer. We've been talking about this Weathering the Storm with Your Animals workshop that's coming up on May 30th, but hopefully we've left you with some good tips and some ideas, some things to be thinking about if you can't make it to that workshop. And if you can't, definitely give us a call. Call the Extension office, call the Office of Emergency Management. There's lots of good information there because knowing ahead of time is really important. A couple of things I would mention of things that are happening. So there's actually a group, it's another acronym called CHARM, CHARM, and they're doing a resiliency workshop in Montgomery County. And that'll be in the summer, July 23rd. So we'll be talking about that much more. But this one is about interactive planning tools, preparing for any kind of disasters and maybe not even disasters, just unusual things that can happen. So that one will be on July 23rd. Like I said, we'll talk about that some more. And Brandon, your May is busy, right? You've got Agriculture Landowners Resource Workshop tomorrow, actually. So come out for the Open Garden Days in the morning. Come back for Agriculture and Landowner Resources Workshop. That's 2 to 4, again, at the office, 9020 Airport Road. And then on May 21st, which is just next week, freeze branding clinic for equine, so you can get them branded, and just in case they have to go to some emergency system.
Animal identification is very important, and this is a way we can help you out. So.
And then there's one more about achieve your vegetative control goals, and that's going to come up on Saturday, June 15th.
Yes.
Yep. So that one's registration at 9. Program starts at 9:30 to 11:30, and that's actually out at Jones State Forest.
Yes.
And is that one the one that's rescheduled?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was supposed to be this past weekend or the 11th, and it got rescheduled because of the rain on the 11th. The unanticipated, water. They went ahead and just rescheduled it to the 15th. But it'll be good. Herbicide, fire, just different ways of controlling vegetation. So.
Okay. So anything else you want to say about those other workshops? Because I just went through those kind of fast.
Oh, not necessarily. I mean, what you said.
So they always good information, and as I mentioned before, I mean, one of the things that we do is we try to be responsive to the needs that are out there. So people call about these things a lot, and often we'll put together a workshop to address that. People have a lot of different learning styles, and some people really like to come in person and hear somebody speak. And so the workshop is one of those long-standing, traditional, reliable ways of getting information, just being there in person. Because like we said, there's all kinds of information on the internet, and some of it's good, some of it not so much. Okay, so we've been talking about the storms and things that happen. So hurricanes, but other things. So just a few minutes that we have here left, Miranda, what are some of your final thoughts that you wanted to share with people who are listening?
Just taking that all hazards approach to their planning as they get prepared. It is kind of, we focus on the hurricane season because that's typically what we'll see the most issues with, where we do have large types of evacuations from homes or needing shelter and bringing animals and things like that. But just preparing, in 2011 we had the wildfires. And luckily, we've had some good wet weather for the last few years, but just being prepared that those can move very quickly and can fall outside of that hurricane season. And just even, that hurricane season timeline, don't get stuck in that June 1st to November 30th timeline. Like Brandon said, last weekend we had some flooding out in East County. It was actually pretty substantial flooding for those folks. They got about 12 inches of rain in about 2 hours. So it just poured on them, and we had just flooded homes and vehicles and schools and all sorts of things that it was really just kind of out of nowhere. We were really kind of scrambling, but having those plans ahead of time and having all of that preset for your family and for your businesses and all of those things, again, even if we have a no-notice event, it's not a hurricane where we have a few days, but it's, oh my goodness, it's raining and it's not stopping and the water's coming up. You've got your kit prepared. You've got your copies and your papers, and you're ready to go. It's just going to help you out so much.
Okay. So don't panic. Prepare.
That's right.
That's a good thing to know, is that the county has a plan for you, especially for Miranda's office, but you need to have a plan for yourself. And if you come to the table with a plan for yourself, Miranda and her office and her staff's going to have a plan for you. You just need to know the proper protocols for that, and that's a good thing about this meeting that we're going to have. So even where it concerns donations are always appreciated. Miranda mentioned there's some things that aren't needed, but maybe they're not needed here, but maybe they're needed in another county. Because when we have an event, it usually isn't just us, especially a water event. It can be in Chambers County or Jefferson County in Beaumont. And sometimes those people need those resources. And so sometimes making that phone call to find out where your stop is with these items is the best measure, instead of just showing up at Montgomery County Fairgrounds or wherever we have a shelter in place. So,
all right. So last little bit of information, provide phone numbers. People need to get a hold of the Office of Emergency Management.
Yeah. So if they can just call our main line, and that can get you to any of our different folks that do all of our different things there. It's going to be 936-523-3900. And you can just tell us what you're interested in, and we'll get you to the right place.
And then, Brandon, our number?
936-539-7822.
And we will be back in just a couple of weeks. Like I said, Brandon will be back with the Master Naturalist, and we'll talk about the people program and partnerships that we have with them. And we're here every Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. This is the Extension Hour, and I'm Amy Ressler. Thanks for listening.